Hey, this is Suburban Self-Reliance here, and I wanted to talk about a topic that there's tons of videos out there on communications, but a part of being self-reliant is the ability to be able to communicate if there's no landlines or phone, cell phones or whatever like that. And there's a lot of different forms of communication out there. The two that we've chosen are CB radio and GMRS. Of course, you can do ham radio if you want. The tests. I just choose not to have to do all those tests. I come from a very technical field, and want to spend my time doing those other than taking long tests. So anyway, we're going to be talking a little bit about and again, these are things, everything in our videos are things that we have done that work for us, okay? So let's just talk about CB a little bit here. You'll notice that over my head is the CB antenna, okay? And it's on our fence post here, and then it's on another 10-foot pole, and then the tip of the antenna actually goes up towards about 40 feet tall. What it is it's a Mako V5000. The antenna, I think I got it off eBay, and it was only maybe $250 free shipping. So if you're going to go with something like that, then go big. And big wasn't expensive. Now $250 may be a lot out of your budget. But if you want to get out in times of emergency, then you can do that. I frequently talk to, we're in the Rockies, and I frequently talk to both coasts, Canada, Jamaica, and have talked to Australia at odd times too. Now CB radio is dependent on something called skip. That's a loose term for what happens is the frequency bounces off the ionosphere and then comes down. So often I can't get someone, say, within 10 or 20 miles to be able to respond to me, but yet I can broadcast 800 to 1,000 miles away. Skip is a funny thing, and it's all dependent on the sun. So anyway, let me take you inside and we'll show you a bit of the equipment. Okay, so here's the actual radio itself. Now, I like old CBs. I like old radios. They were powerful. They're easier to repair. And this one here is a rare JCPenney 6241 made in the late 70s, probably about 76, 77. I actually got it off of Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace for, I think it was $20. The young lady had no idea what it was. It was their father's, and I've seen it on eBay anywhere from $120 to about $300. So, but I like old radios. They're just more reliable. I like, the new radios are computer radios, and they're great, but they have their quirks too. So it just depends on what you like. I personally like old radios. I have a Cobra 148 GTL in my car, and I'll show that in a minute. And also the other radio that's in there too. And but that radio was brought back from the grave by a good friend of mine too. So, but they're repairable, and a lot of times the new radios are not repairable. This is a powerful radio. It gets out, it broadcasts, and then I've got a watt meter there. That is easily obtained on most markets for around $50, and that helps you to know that your radio is broadcasting okay, and it's paired with the antenna okay and everything. So anyway, so that's as far as CBs go. Oh, and I will mention that they're run by power supplies here. That's a 30 amp power supply, and you have to have the power supply to be able to drive a powerful radio. So again, this is all in communications to be able to get out in an emergency situation too. So now the other radio that we have is these little Baofeng radios, and they're cheap. I think that you can buy them for maybe $35 for a pair on Amazon. They're very easily programmed. Now that's the thing about GMRS, is that they have to be programmed. And so what you want to do is you want to find somebody, if you're not great at programming radios, it'll drive you absolutely nuts to program these little things. So there's tons of videos out on YouTube. I got lost on all of them. What I finally found was a great friend in our local area, and he programmed the one radio here for me, and then I was able to clone all the other radios that we have off of this one using a software called Chirp. Chirp is a free program, and you download it, and you can program all your radios. So anyway, let me take you outside and I'll show you what's in the car as far as communications. Okay, here we are in the car, and I have a small Subaru, older model. I'm into older cars. I can tell you that'll be for another video of why I'm not into newer cars. But this, I mentioned the Cobra 148 GTL. It was brought back from the grave. I got a custom faceplate for it on YouTube, because, excuse me, on eBay, because the faceplate was just flat wore out. But it broadcasts great. It's a little on the large side, but these are great radios. This was made in 1990, and it was made in the Philippines, so it's actually it's a very desirable radio. Now, I will say that when we use CB, we broadcast on sideband. So you can see there is a knob here, and it talks about there's lower sideband, AM, and upper sideband. And AM operates off of 4 watts, lower and upper sideband operate off of 12 watts. And many people use an amplifier to boost that power. But so that's that. And then the other radio that I have is the GMRS, and it's it pronounced in English ocean, but in Chinese it's like it's Wuxan or something like that. Anyway, this is the KG 1000 Plus. Now you notice that the face, it's only just has the faceplate here. The actual radio is underneath my seat. And so I've got the 2 microphones here. This radio has 50 watts of power, and with using a GMRS, the great thing about this if you have repeaters in your area, is there are repeater towers that take this signal and then amplify it over hundreds of miles in your local area. Now, here's the difference between GMRS and CB, is that CB is going to have the capability of broadcasting interstate, if not intercoast, and sometimes intercountry. But GMRS is going to be local no matter what you do. So let's go ahead and take you outside and show you what the antennas look like. Hey, pardon the noise, it's a bit windy out here, but here's the GMRS antenna. Now, I have chosen to go with the larger antenna. You can go with an antenna that, on my wife's car, is no more than about this tall, about right here, and it broadcasts out just fine. But I wanted to be able to have the capability of being able to broadcast if the repeaters were down. Now, as far as the CB antenna, this is a 62-inch tall magnetic base Wilson 1000, and it takes a lot to knock that thing off. The nice thing about both of these, is that you can unscrew these and take them to Wilson 1000. And I highly recommend this antenna. This broadcasts to both coasts and to Canada, and often Jamaica also. Great antenna. I would recommend this above any other. But you can take those off, put a cap on there to keep the rain out, and you can put the antenna inside of your car. So those are the antennas, guys. Just wanted to give you a kind of a brief overview of communications, and we'll go ahead and sign out right now. Thank you for joining us at Suburban Self-Reliance. We appreciate you guys. Have a good night.